All right, I think we are live for this 25,000K, not 25,000K, 25,000 subscriber celebration. So if you're here, thank you so much for joining. I honestly can't believe that it's been only around, how long has it been? 16 months since I made my first video, and now I'm on 25,000 subscribers. It is insane. But obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments now. I'll try to get through all of them. And I have some exciting announcements. So if you just hold on, let me just see if I can share my screen. All right. So firstly, just want to say thank you to my patrons. A big reason I'm actually on 25K is because of these guys. I use almost all of my money from patrons to actually get my videos professionally edited. Some of them, around 2 a month. Just helps me to do more videos and also make videos at a higher quality. So these guys are literally helping me make videos. So thank you so much, guys. The next one, starting in June, I will do my first ever read along. So if you haven't joined my Discord server, now is the time. You should be able to find it in any of my video descriptions. And I have the book right here. I also have the beautiful Broken Binding edition, but I'm going to travel next month and I didn't want to bring that beautiful hardcover. So I went out and bought this secondhand only for like £4. But yeah, the Bone Ships, I've heard so many mixed things about this. People hate it, people love it. So I'm very intrigued to see what I will think. Hopefully I will love it because I am going to read all 3 of them. So yeah, if you want to join the read along, definitely do that. And yeah, come join the Discord server. We're starting on the 1st of June and we're just going to do 1 book per month. So I think that's going to be loads of fun. And it'll also be my first ever RJ Barker book. So that'll be lots of fun. The next announcement for this live stream, I have a special guest coming in on around 15 minutes time. I just thought I would go through some of the questions first. And I'll just say it is a booktuber and you can try and guess who it's going to be. I think maybe some of you will probably know who this is going to be, but that is for the announcement. So, already many people here. Covers with Cassidy. Thank you. Isa, thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. And yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe I've reached 25,000 subscribers already, but I really do appreciate the support. It's been an absolutely mad ride. And so when are you going to start my lesson again? Maybe in 2 years' time. The thing is, after I made that video, I was like, should I actually try to read to the end of Dead Ice Gates? But I think it's not gonna be fun. So I think for now, my lesson is not gonna be for me, but it's a soft leaning to a hard DNF. Maybe I'll pick it up one day, but I don't know. I've tried to read Dead Ice Gates twice. I mean, that book, for me personally, it just drags, and I don't connect with the characters. I don't connect with Ericsson's prose. There are some things I love about Malazan, but there's just too many things that I just don't find pleasure. So, but who knows? I really, really want to love the series. As if you watch those videos, you'll know how much I want to love Malazan. But yeah, if you have any questions, and the other thing I want to say, and I'm probably gonna regret this, but I thought it would be fun to react to my first ever YouTube video. So, what do you guys think? Should I do that? I think I'm gonna cringe so ridiculously much. I'll just adjust the camera a bit. Sorry, hold on. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna watch my first ever YouTube video. It's been a while. Thank you, Katrina, and thank you, and Philip Chase, one of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you for joining. So, okay, let's just do it. We're gonna react to my first ever YouTube video. And yeah, it's going to be a cringe fest, but it's not always you hit 25,000 subscribers. So I think it's going to be fun. So let me just see if I can share my screen. And if you have any questions, feel free to, let me see if I can add a banner. Yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming out. Let me see if I can add this. There you go. All right, let's share the screen and we're gonna watch a cringe fest. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. 158 videos. I've also made many shorts. That's why that number is that high. And all right, let's just scroll all the way to the bottom. And I think I am going to regret this because my videos, at least, is fun to look back on how much everything has changed. I think that's always a good thing. All right, Library of a Viking is finally on YouTube, face reveal. So the reason why I did a face reveal, many of you might not know this, but I was quite active on Instagram first, and I'm still am, but I had around, I don't remember, but maybe like 15,000 followers, and a lot of people knew that knew me from Instagram, and I had never ever showed my face on my profile before, and that's why I was like, let's do a face reveal. All right, let's click on this one, and
What's so smart about
this.
Sky Glass?
Let me just turn off this ads while it's playing. At least it's good to see how my videos have progressed. Oh man, I was so nervous and speaking in my third language and everything, and I didn't have any of the same gear I have now. Like I've invested in my channel. Oh man, look at this quality. I was using my phone. I had a very, very basic tripod, and I had a cheap microphone. So I did go out and buy some stuff, but it was all just ridiculously cheap, and I was just so nervous. All right, let's look at this. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. You might be all right. The intro. I don't have an intro anymore because apparently that hurts retention. But I did do a lot of research before I started my YouTube channel, and I remember that, I found this website where they could make an intro for me very cheaply, and I think this actually looks quite cool. Let's watch it again. I mean, for my first YouTube video, I'm not gonna complain. All right. Wondering, isn't it weird to do a face reveal when you don't have any videos on YouTube? The answer to that question is yes. Yes, it's weird. Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh, I don't know if I can watch the whole thing. It's just so slow paced, or at least in my head, because now when I edit, I try to make my videos way faster. Channel. If you never heard about Library of a Viking before, did you see that? My logo came in. I mean, that probably took me an hour to make back then. Might be a bit confused why I'm doing a face reveal. The reason for that is that I've actually been quite an active member of the fantasy community for more than a year now. I have a Instagram page here, Goodreads page here, Twitter page, and even a blog here. But I've actually never showed my face to anyone. Oh, that is funny. So the blog, if you showed my face to anyone, hold on. But I've actually never showed. Oh, where is it? So here we go. But I've actually, everything's going wrong. The blog, I'm actually here. Yeah, so the news is I'm actually going to retire my blog in less than a month. That's just going to disappear. I haven't used it for 6 months. No one reads blogs anymore. I thought it was quite a fun project, and I made it also because publishers really appreciate blogs. But yeah, just going to focus more on Instagram and YouTube, which I've done for the past 6 months anyway. I'm quite impressed by it. I was actually able to do some add images and stuff. I mean, I had no experience with video editing, so it's not too bad so far, but I do cringe a bit. But I've actually never showed my face to anyone. I kind of did a face reveal when I met Joe Abercrombie when I posted this picture. I might actually make a video about that picture one day, if you guys are interested. If you're wondering why that never happened, I never made a video talking about my experience meeting Joe Abercrombie. I met him actually once since that picture. I have a bit of an accent. It's actually because I'm not British. I'm originally from the Faroe Islands, so English is actually my third language. Oh, I remember this. I added this red line to make visually more stunning. This is so fun. Actually, my third language that I taught in school. I've been living now in the UK for 2 years, so my English is definitely improving, but you can expect some grammar mistakes here and there. But yes, I am now on YouTube, which I'm really excited about. However, I'm not really sure yet if I'll enjoy making longer videos. I've been active now on Instagram quite a lot, and I really enjoy making these shorter posts or in reels. Yeah, look at that. We'll see how this goes. So let's talk a bit about my plans. The reason why I have so many cuts is because, especially back then, speaking in English, which is my third language, was so challenging. So I said 3-4 words, and then it was a cut, and 3-4 words, and then I said a cut again. But actually, I'm pretty impressed by this face reveal. I thought it was going to be way worse. For this YouTube channel, firstly, I'm allowing myself to stop making videos if I don't enjoy it, which sounds a bit weird to say on your. Still making videos. That's a win at least. Introduction, but I'm a tad worried that balancing university life, Instagram, my blog, and YouTube will be quite a lot. However, if I love it, and more importantly, if you guys love it, then I'll definitely keep doing videos. Regarding video, yeah, I must say that at least a lot of you have loved it. So thank you for sticking around. I never expected to hit 25,000 subscribers in less than 18 months. That is just mind-blowing.
Videos. I would love to do some book reviews, maybe showcase some of my fancy books.
My fancy books. It's funny because I was so proud of the shelf, and still to this day, that is a nice shelf. So I'm not gonna say that, but I have so like the amount of books I have received and bought since I started this channel is crazy, and my backdrop is way bigger. But man, let's look at this. I was so happy I was able to get Words of Radiance. I don't know if you can see it here. But to this day, that book is almost impossible to get. I was actually able to get a new copy since then. You can see there's like a tear. I sold this one, bought a new one. So yeah, I'm quite impressed. And Ally of Law, also very, very challenging book to find. I've actually sold this Mistborn trilogy since, because I have the leather bounds now and needed shelf space. Look at that. Of Blood and Fire. I know everyone says that Patrick is the one that introduced Ryan Kyle, but I read it before Patrick. But I'm so glad Patrick also read Ryan Kyle, because this series is excellent. The Illumicrate is great, and I have more leather bounds now. I didn't have the Final Empire because they hadn't produced it at that point, like the third printing, whatever. And then we have Master Artificer and Master of Sorrows by Justin Call as well.
And I'll also
All right.
love to hear your opinion about what kind of videos you would like to see. I recently read The Way of Kings, so I'll definitely do a review for this book. I might even make a prediction video about what I'm expecting to happen in Words of Radiance. So yes, guys, Library Viking finally has a YouTube channel. I'll hope you stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
It's not bad. It's not bad, is it? I'm actually a bit impressed by that intro video, even though I cringe a bit. But the good thing about YouTube and with any ventures in life really is that you can grow and you can learn new skills. And that's what I've really been trying to do with YouTube. Dang, intros hurt retention. Yeah, definitely. They say the first 30 seconds are the most important. So if you have like an intro for 10 seconds, that just takes up the first bulk. Most people will just click up. Too bad that's a nice intro. Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you. Congratulations on the channel. New to it, but I love it. Oh, I really, really appreciate it. Philip says pretty high-tech intro video, and it had 3,300 views, which is quite mind-blowing for a first video, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's good to look back on, and I should be proud of that, to see how far I've come. You speak great English, better than some Americans. Oh, thank you very much. Really cool to see your progress. Thank you for the content. Well, thank you for watching. So my special guest is coming on in around 8 minutes, so we'll just wait a bit. But I wanted to show you some recent book mail I received, because that's always fun. So I recently received The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan, an author I haven't read anything by, but Patrick Leo says that he's read at least 4 books by this author, and he's really enjoyed it. This is the Inkstone edition, so this is signed and numbered, and it also has, let me see if I can, the sword on the naked hardback. It looks really cool, and I like this cover. Kind of looks like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, doesn't it? Especially if you look on the back. Yeah, so that's quite cool. And I have to shout about this, because one of my all-time favorite books, and I don't know, maybe it's my all-time favorite self-published book. It's either that or Sword of Kagan, but Ill-Born by Daniel T. Jackson, guys. The Broken Binding is making a special edition, and I have said a couple of times that I think this cover definitely doesn't justify how amazing this book is, because it looks so generic. But the Broken Binding is producing 1,000 limited special editions of Ill-Born, and I'm so happy. It's going to cost like £55, so it's quite hefty, but it's art from one of my favorite illustrators, Katrina, and Ill-Born, Age of Sin, amazing book. So yeah, so happy about that. But that is an old copy. And then also, I received Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Poultry. How amazing is that? This book doesn't come out until, maybe you can see it, or maybe not. Now you can. November 2023. I read Legends Latte last year, really, really enjoyed it, and I absolutely can't wait. I actually can't believe that they sent me this. So now I'm in dilemma. Should I pick this up now because I'm really excited, or should I wait when it's closer to the release date? We will see. But yeah, I'm really, really happy about that one. And yeah, I do also have some books behind me, but I have received some questions. Absolutely correct. Thank you. Does anyone at your uni know you're on YouTube? I mean, yeah, they do, and I'm quite open about it. And I was usually doing a job interview, and I've mentioned it. So I'm not hiding it anymore. But I actually did hide Library of a Viking for more than a year from everyone except like my wife, obviously, and a couple of very close friends. Even my very close friends didn't even know it because, yeah, maybe I was a bit embarrassed, but I also just wanted to explore this creative side of me without having anyone know that I was doing it. So actually, I really, yeah, was really happy about that. Okay, I need to show you some other books. Hold on. I'll bring on my special guest in 5 minutes' time. I don't know if anyone is following me on Instagram or Twitter. You might be. But if you are, then you will know that I went to a Goldspur event on Thursday. I met, I think it was 35 fantasy authors, which was pretty mad. And I have made a video. I've edited the video and it'll probably go out on Monday or Tuesday. And I was actually able to interview some of them, some really big ones. I'm not going to reveal who, but I wanted to showcase some of the books I got signed. And I'm going to reveal it as well in the video, but I think most people that are going to watch the video might not be on the stream anyway. So the first book I got signed is A Day of All Night by Samantha Shannon. She was there. She was super nice. And look at this. Here they have the signature. I feel so ridiculously bad that I haven't read this book. They sent me this book like 6 months ago, and I was determined to read this before release, but then uni life was just crazy busy. And this book is like 800 and something pages. And then release date happened, and now, I don't know. I will read it this year, especially because I have this and they literally sent it. So it's not that I don't appreciate it, but it's so big. But yeah, I'm so happy about that. And now I have a signed copy. And then we also received a goodie bag, and they, like, some of the goodie bags had books in them, which is pretty mad because this event only cost £4, and they gave us free drinks, even alcoholic drinks if you wanted them. They gave you like lots of free bookmarks, and I got a free book. This is a hardback. I never heard about this. Red Noise by John P. Murphy. But the crazy thing is, let me show you guys. This is a signed and numbered book. I paid £4 to meet 35 authors, got a tote bag filled with bookmarks and so on, and then also a free book. And there is something on the naked hardback as well, but I have never heard about this book. And Ken Liu, he's on the blurb. He says it's a good book. I love Ken Liu, so maybe that is a good thing. All right. I had the self-published edition of The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, which is a book I read last year and I didn't particularly enjoy. But yeah, I at least got it signed. Maybe I should show you the signature. Here we have the signature. She was also super nice. And I also brought my ARC of The Atlas 6, which I received, I don't know when, 18 months ago. Also signed. So now I have 2 copies signed by Olivia Blake, and I didn't particularly enjoy this book. So I don't know. This feels so stupid. I should give it to some mega fan of the Atlas 6 or sell it for a bunch of money. That's a joke. And how many? Okay, so I also met Alexander Darwin. He lives in North America, I think Canada, maybe. And he sent me this, or Orbit in America sent me this. This is an ARC. It's quite bad beaten up. When it arrived, it had like, yeah, never mind. But I met him. He was also super nice, and he signed it. I'm gonna read this next month, probably. That's at least the aim. And this was originally a self-published book. I always love when self-published books are picked up by traditional publishers. And the last book, and that's a book I bought. So this one, it's Antimatter Blues by Edward Ashton. This is a sequel or a prequel to a book called Mickey 7 by the same author, obviously. A book I really enjoyed, and it's a sci-fi book, and it's so underrated. The weird thing is, not this one, but Mickey 7 is literally getting an adaptation, and Robert Pattinson, he's going to be the protagonist. So this book is going to be quite famous, and it came out last year, and it's really, really good. If you enjoy it, like Andy Weir, for example, I don't know why not more people have read it. Well, never mind. The sequel came out recently, and when I saw the Forbidden Planet, they had an edition with a signed book plate. I just knew I had to buy it. And it's not that long, so yeah, that's quite good. All right, let's look at the comments, and then we're going to invite our special guest. So if you want to take one last guess, who's going to be, now's the time. Bro, you speak better than me. It's the first language. I don't believe that. It would be very difficult to hide a YouTube channel from your wife. That is very true, and she's been very, very supportive. So I'm glad I didn't hide it from her. Congratulations. How many books do you read on average a month? So I actually read less than I think most booktubers. And I think that's fine. I probably read 4, maybe 5. Yeah, maybe 1 a week. on if I'm on a good streak, but mostly I think it's probably less. How many authors have you met? That's also the thing I talk to my wife. Since I started my YouTube channel, I've gone to many events. So I went to FantasyCon last year, where there were so many authors. I've been to different events where authors have been. So at this point, I probably met like 80 or 90 fantasy authors, which is ridiculous. Like yesterday or the day before, I met 35 authors, and I went to FantasyCon where I met at least 20, maybe 30, and then I've been to other events. So my favorite author that I met is probably still to this day Joe Abercrombie. He's exactly how he is online as well, which I just loved. And Joe Abercrombie is a genius, isn't he? Congratulations on 25K love from India. Antimatter Bliss on my TBR. And did you hear about Lord of the Ice Garden? No, I didn't. All right, it's time to introduce our special guest. And 1, 2, 3.
Yay! Hello.
I think Isa is probably I call her my YouTube bestie at this point. And how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the stream.
No, thank you so much for inviting me, and congratulations again. 25,000 subscribers. It's amazing. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Man, this
And
is
your
amazing.
backdrop is way better than mine. I don't have any books behind me today. It's so beautiful.
I don't believe the lights will remain for more than 5 minutes. So
Nah, it looks gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Isa, what are you currently reading?
Oh, I am currently finalizing a story which I'm really loving, which is called Dreams Lie Beneath. It's a young adult leaning towards the adult side standalone by one of my favorite authors, Rebecca Ross. The same author.
Ooh, River Enchanted.
Yes, which you need to read.
And I added to my TBR because of you, but I haven't picked it up yet.
Yes. And it is fantastic. It's not the best book, but the premise, it's so fascinating. Like nightmares come to life on the new moon, and people need to record them because they will need to fight them. I think it's fascinating. I'm really enjoying it.
Sounds very interesting.
What about
I
you?
am currently reading a book. I'm pretty sure you love this book, The Martian by Andy
Yes,
Weir.
I am obsessed.
It is good, but
No,
it is not as good as Project Hail Mary,
I
in
can
my
agree.
opinion.
I can
You
agree.
agree? Okay, yeah. Because the friendship in Project Hail Mary is
I
so
know.
good. The thing is, the whole
Jazz
premise with
hands.
The Martian is he's alone on Mars.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Weir, it's quite astounding that he's able to make it this engaging considering he's alone. But Project Hail Mary, when you have two characters that become friends in such strange ways, I mean, nothing beats that, really.
No, it's fantastic.
It is
It's fantastic.
so good. And then I'm also reading The Hod King, book 3 in the Books of Babel.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
I'm doing discussions with other booktubers, so I kind of have to read it. But I'm enjoying it.
I'm about to start Malice, though.
Ooh,
I know. I mean,
I wonder. Yeah, I think you will love it. But Malice is a good book, so I'll stand by that. But the first half is maybe a bit rough, or that's at least some people have that experience. So
okay.
But yeah. It is worth it.
It shocked me that it doesn't have an audiobook, or at least I wasn't able to find it on Audible, at least, which was weird. I thought
I'm
this
pretty
was
sure I have it on Audible.
What? No.
Maybe it's just not in Spain or something.
No, but
Or Malice
but
by
I'm-
John Gwynne. You just have to read it physically then.
No, I know. I have the book and I want it. But
Man. Called it.
yay!
I think most people probably knew it's gonna be fun fantasy books, obviously.
Yay!
And greetings from Germany. Yeah, that's one thing that I find just so fascinating about YouTube. It's like you connect with so many people from so many different places. It is mad.
It is fantastic. And I actually had some questions for you around BookTube.
Yeah,
is that
go for
okay?
it. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to know, and maybe we all want to know, what inspired you to start the BookTube channel. So yes, you were pretty active on Instagram, but why? Why you start?
I feel like this is a job interview question. Why did I start my YouTube channel? But I do love the question, and I would love to actually ask you that same question afterwards. So the reason why, well, I was becoming more and more active on Instagram, but I kind of felt like I hit a ceiling with maybe not growth, but I just didn't feel like I was being challenged. It just felt quite repetitive. And I watched BookTube for so long. I just love BookTube. Daniel Green, Murphy Napier are literally like the guys that helped me fall in love with the genre. So just watching a lot of BookTube, being active on Instagram was definitely something. But then I also just felt like I wanted to challenge myself, learn some new skills. And I've never considered myself as a creative person at all. But also that felt like a good opportunity to actually challenge myself and see if I was a bit more creative than I thought I was going to be. So yeah, learning how to do video editing and thumbnails and titles and how to speak in a third language and how to talk about books and so on. It has been so rewarding and so fun. And it's almost like when you fall down into this YouTube rabbit hole, it's almost like a science in some ways.
100%.
Like you can watch videos about people literally analyzing thumbnails or titles or how to make videos more engaging. And it's really challenging, but it's also very interesting. So I think the whole journey has been crazy. But one thing that has really blown my mind with the whole YouTube journey, which I never expected in this way, is that I've been able to connect with so many people, both readers and authors.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the fact that like when I went to this Goldsboro event, obviously it was a fantasy event. So maybe not a big surprise, but someone came up to me and was like, "Are you the guy from Instagram called Library of a Viking?" And I was like, "Yes." Someone recognized me in public, and that hasn't been the first time.
That's pretty cool.
Such events that people that come up and stuff like that is just so strange.
It
But
is.
yeah, it's been rewarding. But I'm gonna start working in 3 months,
Yay.
so I don't know how it's gonna be with finding time to do everything. But I will make it work somehow.
I know that you will. I know that you will.
Why did you start your channel?
I actually wanted to connect with the community. Same as you, I was watching lots of BookTube. I think that COVID hit and I was like, okay, this is my new hobby, just reading and just consuming BookTube. And I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be part of the conversations, to just talk about books. And I did not thought about that, really more deeply than that. I started doing it and then I realized the huge amount of everything, of work, of passion that you need to have. And it's been really rewarding, also pretty tough at times, but it has been great.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm really
And one thing I think that is very interesting and mind-blowing is that when you get into like creating content and stuff like that, you discover that actually this niche, it's much more of a niche than you would expect.
Yes.
Because a lot of authors, literally big time authors, if you send them an email, they will reply to you, most of them. And that's something like I just never expected. And if you ask them like, do you want to do an interview? Most of them, even if they're like well known, will be absolutely okay with it and or maybe really excited about it. Which beforehand I thought that was only going to be for Daniel Green or this massive channels would have authors on, but they're just like so easy to get in contact with your favorite authors, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that's something that it's great from the fantasy community, right? Like everyone is so open. The booktubers are really open. The community, it's really nice. And the authors are also open to these conversations. I think everything, it's so cool. I remember my friends saying like, okay, but you're kind of like going public. You will be facing people that's going to be nasty, trolls, stuff like that. And of course there are, I'm still a small channel, but overall the comments are always nice people. It's really just fantastic. It's a fantastic community.
Readers are awesome. The BookTube community. And I remember I made a video where I contacted authors and asked if they could share their favorite read of the year. And so many came back and said yes. I remember I had like Ken Liu, Fonda Lee. At that point, my channel was around 7,000 subscribers. And still to this day, like I look back on the video and I'm just like, Fonda Lee, she's one of my all-time favorite authors. She was in a video of mine.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. It felt like an achievement, but it also just tells you that these authors are more like relatable and easy to get in contact with.
100%.
So yeah, that's really cool. There's a question. I'm not sure if I understand it. Realism or romanticism fantasy? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Is there psychological or self-destruction? Sorry. If you can rephrase the question, definitely do that. Awesome story. It's funny. Both of you are inspiration for me personally. Oh, that's really nice.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, fun fantasy book. She is definitely an inspiration for me. And she's making great content. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe now. I love both of your channels. Oh, thank
Yay.
you. And you just reached, was it 7,000 subscribers? So you also hit a milestone recently. Very cool.
Yay. Yay.
Congrats. So both are now inspiring new booktubers to start channels. Yeah,
Hmm.
that is, I think that's I'm gonna find that quite weird if someone's gonna say you were an inspiration for me to create my channel. So maybe that will happen someday. But if that ever happens, I think that's gonna blow my mind.
What I can say though is that your channel made my channel better. I was watching you and your content way before we connected, and I was so inspired. At the same time, I was like mad, like, how is this person creating content that it's so good? Like, what is happening? And
Oh,
it just, no, 100%,
touching me.
100%. And it made me, yeah, be better, 100%. Hopefully.
Man.
I mean, I think I'm better.
No, your content is great, and I appreciate that. It's really kind of you. Yeah, it's been quite a while, but it's becoming more and more challenging to figure out like new ways you can make really unique content. Because when I started my channel, I was like, okay, I have some ideas. I know no one has done this, but now I have
Yeah.
done most of those ideas. But yeah, it's still really, really fun. So, which plot you wish you could forget to read the novel as the first time?
Ooh,
Oh.
good question.
That is a good question. My first thought was the Sword of Kagan, actually.
Same.
No, you're not allowed to say the same as me. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'll choose another book then. But Sword of Kagan, I think that just blew my mind. It was just so different. The climax at the 50% mark, the analysis of themes, and I didn't even know it was a self-published book when I read it, and I just loved it. There are some other books. I mean, I think the whole Greenbone saga is, I keep talking about it, and probably now it would be interesting if I could read the Dark Tower series again after having read this many fantasy books, because that was probably the first epic fantasy series I read when I got back into reading, and it just blew my mind how many creative things he did, Stephen King. And yeah, maybe I would hate that series now because he takes so many risks. It'll be interesting to see, but it's one of my all-time favorite series. I think The Dark Tower. Is there any other books you would say?
So for Sword of Kagan, I mainly wanted to forget it because I've never cried as much with the book. And I remember the moment, and I was like, okay, this is something completely different. But probably the Aurelian Cycle. It's a solid story. I love the politics, the dragons. It is phenomenal, and I would 100. Which one? What?
The Obedient Cycle. Is that what you said?
Aurelian Cycle. The first book is.
Is it Robert Bennett? Oh, that
Pyros
one.
Munda. Aurelian Cycle.
Is it YA? I'm not sure if I've.
Yes, it is. But
I have seen it before.
But it leans older, and it's right now. There's this fantasy romance book that it's getting very hyped, Fourth Wing, and this is kind of like, for me, the better version of it.
Oh, really?
I mean, way less romance, way more politics.
Okay. Yeah, the Fourth Wing had reached, was it 28,000 ratings on Goodreads recently after 3 weeks.
I know. That
must be like a new record. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah.
I've heard it's quite a lot of adult content in that book. Is that true?
No. I mean, no.
No, the Fourth Wing.
Yeah, the Fourth Wing. No. I'm actually tracking, because I thought this was fascinating, how the rating of Fourth Wing was changing through time. And as of the 11th of May, it had 8,600 ratings, like people rating it, with a 4.75. So let's say 9,000 people, right?
That's
and
mad.
as of
2 weeks ago,
yesterday, it was 32,000 people.
Oh, 32,000.
Which is outstanding. And it's still with a 4.71 stars.
So mad, though. That is insane.
It is insane.
The author has probably earned suddenly just so much money, and she must just be like, what is going on? She probably has like a couple of $100,000 extra in her bank account suddenly, and she's like, how did this happen?
I think that the idea of publishing the book with the sprite edges for the regular version helped.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't think we get this, at least in the US they do. It is black with dragons, and I
Yeah.
think that that is kind of like, ooh, this book looks cool. And then
And
the story.
that edge is almost identical to a self-published book I read earlier this year. Have you
Oh,
seen
really?
that?
No.
A Gamble with Gods by Mitchell Faywood. It's so weird because those edges are nearly identical. The only difference is that the self-published book has more dragons. It has like 9 dragons going down instead of 5. So
Okay.
yeah, it must have been the same
Hmm.
company or something. Yeah, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Congratulations on 25K. Thank you very much. How did you guys get past the nerves anxiety when you started your channel? Okay, I'm happy to go first. Probably helped a lot that I had volunteered a lot of my church. So I was used to holding a microphone and stuff like that, which definitely helped a lot. And yeah, how did it get past my nerves? I think, yeah, I just. Do you have an answer for this? Maybe I'm just more confident. I don't know. I was nervous.
Yeah, I'd say that just because I filmed more videos. Like for me,
yeah.
the best advice, if you are like a regular person, you're not really kind of like used to talk as much, is to just pull out content. It doesn't matter as much the quality at that point, but the quantity of what you're doing, because you are learning to feel more comfortable. And
Yeah.
that was it for me. Like when you start talking about books and eventually you keep repeating kind of like the same books every now and then, or the same or similar ideas, patterns, you kind of like, it's easier to verbalize your thoughts. But I also still have lots of, when I'm editing, lots of cuts, because English is not my first language. So it's the same. It was like, just doing more videos. That's it.
That is so true. Just make more videos. And actually, for me, and maybe for some of you, that'll be too much research, but I watched, I don't know how many, maybe 20 videos on how to start your YouTube channel, which maybe is a bit overkill, but actually just listening to other people's experience really helped calm my nerves a lot. And I just still remember Mr. Beast. He said, your first 10 videos will be so bad. And that's okay. And he also said, you'll probably be a bit proud of them initially, but your videos will be bad. So just, that's okay. Your videos will be bad. And I just felt like, okay, all YouTubers go through this. Most of their first 10 videos, at least maybe 20 videos, are just really, really bad. But you learn so much. And one thing that I found really helpful, and he said, if you can learn one new skill from every time you make a new video, then after you made 100 videos, you literally have now 100 new skills. And it's really about a marathon and not about you need to know how to do everything in the beginning.
Totally.
So that also, whenever, especially in the beginning, I still try to do this, but when I made my first video, then to the next video, I just try to figure out how can I remove a background on a thumbnail. And then to my third video, I learned how can I make a new transition, just like tiny things along the way. And that also helps you make you more confident because you're actually almost leveling up,
Absolutely,
in production
you are.
fantasy.
Yeah.
So
also, something that really helped to me is thinking that at the beginning, there's not a lot of people really watching. So it's like, to me, it was like, well, whatever. It's like 25 people, 50 people watching. My videos at the beginning were like just 50 views. So it was like, it's not that much people. I don't need to get like super stressed about having the highest quality because it's just very chilled, very cozy.
Yeah. And I think the booktube community is so welcoming anyway. So you're not going to get many nasty comments. You're going to get a few, probably not. But that's going to happen later on when you get bigger. Congratulations on 25K. Thank you so much. And love this channel if you haven't checked it out. And Joanna, also one of my favorite booktubers. Thank you so much. It's pretty mad. All right. We've received the comment again. So what do you like better, high fantasy or low fantasy? And will the future of fantasy be more high or low? Oof. That is an interesting question. The thing is, I think recently it seems to be more trendy to have fantasy stories that aren't as epic in scope as we don't have many Wheel of Times at the moment, or I don't know, these huge, massive Malazan. When was the last time we heard a new publisher announce a new 10-book series or a new 15-book series? I don't think that has happened since I started my booktube channel, except if it's a self-published book. Some of those series are very long, but often the books are short. So I think at least for now, it's way more trendy. And at the moment, duologies. I remember I was chatting to Jen Williams, one of my favorite authors. She said that duologies are really trendy at the moment.
Really?
So that's just a 2-book series.
Mm.
So it feels like it's definitely going in that direction at the moment. But I'm pretty confident in maybe 2 or 3 years' time, it'll probably become a bit more epic again. Maybe we'll have more trilogies, quartets, and 5, 6, 7-book series.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if we will ever, maybe not ever, but I think it's going to become increasingly rare to have huge 14 epic book series. And that's because financially, the sales almost always drop from book 7 to 8 and 8 to 9.
Yeah.
The publisher usually makes less money.
Mm.
So it just makes more sense for them to do trilogies and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just going to come back. Like it'll just go in a circle. And if you want huge epic series, self-publishing community, the Cradle series, there's many out there that are just massive. But yeah.
Great answer.
Do you prefer like long series or short series?
I actually believe like trilogies are a sweet spot, and I actually really enjoy standalones. I am really fond of them. I believe that if a story is well crafted, it has all the potential to pack a punch, to be emotional, to be important, and just be one book. But usually for books to be more developed, it's a trilogy. It's kind of like the perfect sweet spot for me. But I can see the duologies thing. Like sometimes the second book, it's kind of like a transition book at times.
Yeah, the middle book syndrome.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, since I started book 2, since I have less time to read, I enjoy shorter series. But I've been really craving, or not craving, I've been really wanting to try out, I think it's called Shadow of Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is a 10-book fantasy series that he's written. And those books are seriously chunky, but I don't know. I just feel like I would like to jump into a huge universe again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's quite hard to make content if you're going to jump into a huge series as well, because no one wants to hear you talk about book 6 or 7 or 8 in a series that maybe isn't even that popular. Even if it's really popular, Wheel of Time, if you make a video review for book 12, I mean, almost no one's going to watch that. So you don't have the same incentive.
Yeah.
But I suppose the question was high fantasy or low fantasy more realistic. So I think high fantasy is still going to be really popular going forward. And low fantasy, often they class it, publishers often will call it magical realism in the way, so they don't have to use the terms fantasy, because apparently that doesn't sell as well. So I think both will exist. And it's interesting. It seems like a lot of those crowds don't mingle the same way.
I think I would prefer high fantasy though.
Yeah, I do as well. Definitely. Hello from New Zealand. Oh, wow. It must be early for you. Good morning. Joanna, speaking of Tchaikovsky, fun fantasy books.
Yay!
I'm about to finish my reread of Guns of the Dawn via audio. It's so good. I love the ending so much. Yeah, that's a book you recommended to me, right?
Yes. Oh, Joanna, that makes me so happy. It is an incredible book. I adored it.
What is good about it? Convince me I should pick it up.
I'm not sure actually if you would enjoy it, but
You said it's almost like Jane Austen-ish.
Yes, it has that vibe. So we have the Regency setting, and the story starts really strong with our main character, Emily Mashwick, fighting a war and doing something. And you're like, what is even happening here? And then you're drawn back to the past, and you see her and her family in all of these different balls and everything very Bridgerton-like. And then the war unfolds, and we see how she gets there. There's a little bit of magic, but I really enjoyed how war is depicted in a way in which it's not good, that you see the consequences of it. Also, you see how the narrative is being shared with people, and they are like, we are the good ones, but are we? And there's a pen pal relationship here, which I love. It's a trope that I adore. And enemies to lovers. So not sure if those are kind of like your things.
Are you able to is it almost like you read some of the letters that some of them write? Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
But it's
Yeah.
not the core part, but they get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
letters.
It's
yeah.
quite a nice touch.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
so
I'll-
weird. Adam Jakowski is one of those authors that he goes to almost every single like fantasy book related event. So
Yeah.
like I literally I think I met him. Yeah, I have met him 3 times
But
in
stop
less
it.
than a year.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm really jealous. I'm really jealous. I really
Yeah.
love him. Have you
So
read
yesterday when
Spiderlight?
I met him, no, the day before when he was there, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he even recognizes me, but yeah. But it was fun. He is always also super nice. But
Yeah.
the amount of books that man has written, and he
Yeah.
keeps writing. He publishes like 5 stories a year. It's mad.
It is mad. I
Have
just
you read
think-
any of his other work?
I've read Spiderlight and that's it, because I'm actually not a huge fan of spiders or ants. And I started Children of Time, and it was like,
Too much spiders.
yes, basically too
Yeah.
much spider. So it was like, no. But
Man, yeah, I need to. I read 2 of his books. Shards of Earth. That was way too. What is it called? Hard sci-fi. I just couldn't get into it. And then I read Dogs of War, which is
Yeah.
a short book, and I really enjoyed the first half, but then it just felt a bit too long-winded.
Mm.
So, but I did finish it. So I want to give some of his fantasy work a try because I've read 2 of his sci-fi books. I know it's not the most popular sci-fi books he's written, but yeah. All right, we have a question. If you had to do something other than BookTube, what would you both make videos about?
ooh.
That is a good question. I'll probably review 2 ramble videos. Oh,
I'll
let
probably
me
do
think.
funny videos about my animals, like my cat and my dog. I will probably do funny videos about them, giving
I
them
mean,
voices.
so I would probably. I mean, this is maybe a bit cheating because it maybe wouldn't be directly BookTube related, or maybe something regarding like philosophy or politics or something. Because I also find those things very interesting. But then you would have to read books, very different from fantasy, and maybe some of those videos. But I'm not smart enough to talk about philosophy.
Come on, you
YouTube.
are.
At least not well read enough to be able to have a strong opinion about some of those stuff. Is that the D Johanna? Yeah, no, she's in the stream. Oh, that's awesome. And happy
Yay.
smiley. Buffering. Oh, does the video don't load for you? I'm sorry about that. Hello from Czechia. Oh, hello. Congratulations. Thank you. It's awesome to see you both. What are your favorite book covers on your bookshelves, but excluding any special editions? I don't have my shelves here, but it's not going to be Illborn, unfortunately, even though I love this book so much. I am a huge fan of, so I have it on my shelf in my other room, but The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I just love the white colors with contrast. I love the UK costume covers. I am just a huge sucker for. Oh, you do have it. Yeah, I love that cover. That's one of my favorites, probably. That isn't, well, I mean, that is actually a special edition, but it's just Sprayed Edges, the one I have. But yeah, that is quite a nice cover. You have something. Elantris.
Yes, this is, well, it's obviously the Spanish edition, and it's the first Spanish edition that was released. And I think it's the best one. I got the last one, which I believe
very
it's
cool.
the standard one, like this one. I think this one is the standard right now, right?
I prefer that one though. I love that art.
No, you don't. Look at this.
I mean, that is good art.
No, it's fantastic.
Do you say that's your all-time favorite cover of the whole shelf?
Well, I have another.
The Prior of the Orange Tree.
No.
That is a ridiculously beautiful cover.
I also love this one. Really. Oh, no.
I think Prior of the Orange Tree, that is maybe one of my favorite covers. The Dandelion Dynasty, the UK covers are crazy beautiful as well. Inkheart. I think that is a nice cover, but you probably have a different taste in covers than I do. I think the other
Like
Elantris cover is
beautiful
better.
ones.
I think the other Elantris cover is better.
This one is beautiful. But I forgive you because it's your celebration.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, a lot of nice covers. I like when a fantasy cover has quite a lot of like scope, like or at least a lot of intrigue. I think those are quite important, and
Yes.
just a lot of colors is really nice,
Yeah.
and that's why I love the Prayer of the Orange Tree. I love the cover
is
way more
beautiful.
than I love the story.
Yeah.
It's just it's beautiful, and A Day of Fallen Night as well. It's just stunning covers.
Mm.
What is your favorite book you have ever read? That is a massive, ridiculously big question. I know what you're gonna
Stormlight
say.
Archive.
Ooh, Words of Radiance, good. I think. Well, I recently made a video, the best sequel I've ever read. The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu is one of the best books I ever read.
Really?
So ridiculously good. I know it's gonna not be for everyone, but the politics, the scale, it's like reading the Greenbone Saga on steroids almost.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
it is so good. So that is probably my favorite read of the year. I'm not sure if it's going to be my all-time favorite book. I know I keep holding this up. Illborn, the series. I love the series, both of them. What about you? And I'm going to give you a challenge. You're not allowed to say Sword of Kagan.
No, I think it's a Stormlight Archive. Really,
Mm.
I'm a die-hard lover of Sanderson, and Stormlight is the deal for me. So,
Yeah. What is your favorite book in the series?
Oathbringer,
Okay.
which I
That's
know
okay.
it's not the most popular option.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Mm.
I know. I
But
read the
it
first
is-
2 books, and I will read the 3rd book this year, and then I'm going to read the 4th book next year. I think one a year is enough because I have so many books I want to read.
Or you can read book 3 and 4. So next year, when book 5
Mm.
comes in, you can join the party.
True, but that's going to be a lot of Stormlight for 1 year if I do that. But yeah, that is a good suggestion.
Hmm.
Anyone have a daily reading time goal to reduce burnout but also keep motivation up? When I started my channel, I used to read 50 pages every day at minimum. And that was like a goal I had. But that was also because I wanted to get into training or like become more disciplined when it came to reading.
Mhm.
Now I don't need, like now that I've fallen in love with reading, I don't need to read 50 pages every day. Like I can easily read maybe 100, 150 pages a day if I want to. And then some days I won't read at all. But I think if you want to get into reading, then it's really helpful to set a goal.
Yeah.
But also I think that it's good to know that reading is just a hobby. So you don't have to read 50 pages every single day or something. Just enjoy it. And yeah, it's better to be able to do it in a sustainable way, because if you stop reading, then everyone has lost.
Yeah.
Do you have a goal for how much you read a day?
No, same. When I didn't have the book group channel, I wanted to read same like 70 pages a day, something like that, just to keep going. And because it was my hobby and I wanted to give it time, proper time. But now I don't really have it. I'm really enjoying the audiobooks, which I think is a great way to
Absolutely.
keep reading, and it has helped me to reach like more stories. But no, it just, if I manage to have 5 minutes, 10 minutes of reading a day, I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that is a good answer, really. And yeah, if it's something you're passionate about, it's worth investing time into it. But again, yeah, just enjoy reading. I think if you absolutely hate it, sometimes it's also okay to take a break from reading for a couple of weeks if you need to. And the good thing about reading, I think, is the more you do it, the easier it becomes to read more. But even to this date, I have never been a person that is able to read a book in one day. I know a lot of booktubers are able to do that easily. I think you are able to read a lot if you want to in a day, don't you?
But because I invest a lot of time, I'm not actually a fast reader, especially also, or maybe because I'm not reading in Spanish. So it takes me more time to read. But if I invest like the whole day and the book isn't like, it isn't complex, I can do it. Also young adult, it's easier. So that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, if I ever read 200 pages in one day, that is like a lot for me. So I'm probably different from a lot of booktubers because like 100 pages a day, that's also like really a lot for me. So it's just being consistent, which allows you to read more. So if you read 50 pages a day, you will read a lot of books at the end of the year. So Hey, I'm currently going through Wheel of Time. I just started The Gathering Storm. Oh, how exciting. My wife, she's reading Memories of Light at the moment, so she's just a bit ahead of you. I want to know what's your favorite scene or battle sequence from the Wheel of Time. So you haven't read any of the Wheel of Time, have you? Mine is obviously Dumas Wells. Yeah, I mean, I would also say Dumas Wells is so ridiculously epic. It's probably one of the most epic scenes I've ever come across in fantasy. That ending is just so mind-blowing. I think a scene from book 4 is also really iconic at Emma's Field, where Perrin is leading that army. You probably know it if you read it. But yeah, Dumas Wells, one of the best scenes from
Spoiler.
in fantasy. It's absolutely ridiculously brutal. What is the best way to organize your bookshelf? I think, Isa, you have beautiful shelves and you have put a lot of thought into your shelves.
Yeah.
The way I do it, I just do hardbacks, paperbacks, and also like obviously I keep the series together, but that's primarily how I do it. And I have very cheap shelves, so it's not like the beautiful masterpiece that's behind Isa.
No.
Do you have any recommendations?
I actually think the best way to do it or to have them, it's putting together the series and then having them ordered like by size. I was really obsessed with that because I hated to see like the first book like this, second book it's like this, and those
Yeah.
editions like completely break my mind. But then I realized that this version it's also very pretty to look at. I'm
It
in this space a long time a day. This is also where I work, and
Yeah.
I eventually wanted to give it a try. Starting being a mess, it took me like 10 minutes to find each book, but now I'm all right. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's nice.
But
I
it's not the
I
best.
have, since I started BookTube especially, invested quite a lot of, maybe not that much money, but I definitely try to buy matching editions now because I just think it looks so pretty when you have a series that are all the same height, like 3 books or 5 books in a series. So if you can that, but also secondhand books are great. They are really
Yeah.
great. So and they're so much cheaper. So yeah, one thing I would just say is just test different things out.
Yeah.
Like put some good music on or an audiobook and just have fun, try different stuff with your shelves.
Yeah.
And what Isa is doing, which is really cool, is having some lights behind the books. It really adds a lot to that one, to how your shelves look. So yeah, but there's probably some videos out there, I'm sure. But usually at height or paperback, hardbacks is a good way. Have you read the books of Pellinor series or any Tamora Pierce? Some of my favorite fantasy that I've never heard talk about. I've heard about Tamara Pierce, but I haven't read any of her works. And yeah, there are a lot of authors that are very underrated on BookTube.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of books covered on the BookTube community, we do also have a tendency to maybe forget some huge names. I actually made a video talking about 10 books that are criminally underrated on BookTube. Like Raymond E. Feist, for example, he sold like 50 millions or something, 10 million books, and no one ever talks about it. So yeah. Do you read multiple books at a time? If so, do you diversify your options, such as reading high fantasy alongside a short story? Do you want to go first?
I have the booktuber answer and then I have the non-booktuber answer. When I wasn't doing booktube, I was only reading one book, and that was mainly what I've got. I invested time there and I really enjoyed it. And I can see that I started reading 2 books, one for the audio and another the physical copy. So at some point I have these 2 different lines going on. But then now, if I want to be a little bit more strategic with my time and with what I read, because I want to read different stories so that I can share my thoughts. So I kind of blend short stories with longer stories, with more epic, with more complex. So I try to strategize is kind of like a very great word for what I actually do, but I do try to blend it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I usually read 3 books at a time, but 2
What?
for pleasure. And the way I do
Not
it, so
that smart.
no, and the way I do it, it all makes sense. So one is audio. So whenever I walk or clean the dishes, I'll put one on audio, and then I have one other book, a separate book I read whenever I want to read physically. So usually it's 2 books, but then I also always have one non-fiction book going, and that is just a book I read 10 pages in the morning or something.
Yeah.
And usually I read that over a month's time. So often in my head, I don't even almost count that as a book I'm reading, because it's just like a book I read, you know,
Yeah.
5-10 pages here and there. But yeah, usually I say 2 books, but I actually do technically read 3 books at a time. But I find it really helpful to do 1 audio and
Yeah.
1 physical. And there's nothing wrong with audiobooks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them now. I think I'm probably going to end the stream soon. I know also Isa has to leave soon. We're probably going to go a bit longer after
Yeah.
you leave. So yeah, just let me know if you need to leave soon
No, it's fine.
or now. Do you have any guilty pleasure reads or genre? I am a huge fan of spicy romance. No, I think it's
No.
pretty obvious what my guilty pleasure is and genre. Definitely fantasy, high fantasy, all day long. Just love it.
Yeah.
Love it so much.
Yeah, for me it's also fantasy, but guilty pleasure, I think it's young adult actually. Like, I think that they are underrated because the stories that are coming up like these last years are really great. Like the plot, whatever you're seeing, reading, it's really unique. But
Yep.
then it has some elements that make it not really land as good as it might be if it is adult fantasy, but still it's really usually very creative, very unique. I'm really enjoying myself when I'm reading young adult. It's different kind of a read.
Yeah, and it's always so satisfying to read a book that doesn't take like 2 weeks to read. Like some
Yeah.
fantasy books are so big that you
Yeah.
just know like this is gonna be an investment.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's just nice to read a book in like 2 or 3 days, and then you actually read another book.
Yeah.
And yeah, YA is good because the prose is usually more accessible. So
100%.
yeah. So before you leave, because I know you have a movie night coming up,
Yeah.
can you share some of your favorite books you read this year? And if you need a while to think about it, I'm happy to go first.
Mhm.
So some of my favorite reads I've already mentioned, but The Wall of Storms is definitely one of my favorite reads of the year. Phenomenal book. That is probably my number 1 whenever I make a new tier list. I know I keep holding this up, but Angel Sin, the sequel. So actually the sequel to this one, which it's somewhere in the back. I can see it. That is also one of my favorite books, Angel Sin. Absolutely phenomenal. And then I should probably mention a self-published book, Seeds of War,
Mhm.
by I don't know how to pronounce his first name because it's a Spanish name, but
Huh?
Silva is his last name.
Silva. Mhm.
Yeah, that was also a good book. I didn't give it 5 stars, but I had
Mm.
a great time with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I just finished the Tonima trilogy.
Mm.
It was good. Have you read Robin Hobb? You have
No.
nothing. You haven't read anything by Robin Hobb. Okay.
No. No.
Now you're missing out.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's very good.
it's good to have more books in your TBR, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I think the best for me have been The Empire of the Wolf.
Oh
So
yeah. Well, actually, I read the Tyranny of Faith. I think that was the second to last book I read
yes,
last year. Have you
I
read
know.
Tyranny of Faith?
Yes, yes.
Did you enjoy it more than Justice of Kings, or?
I did, but the romance, it could be skipped. Like
Okay.
not
Yeah,
necessary
yeah.
at all. It was a little bit cringy to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I adored the read. I thought it was really good. It took me a solid minute to understand the world, to understand the characters, but I
Yeah.
loved it.
It's a breath of fresh air for sure.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. That is
Yeah.
a good shout. The
Yeah.
Justice of Kings and Tyranny of Faith
Yeah.
are absolutely brilliant. All right, last call. I think I'm going to end the stream in a couple of minutes, unless if many questions come in.
I want to ask a question for you, though.
Go on.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just-
Rachel.
I want to know, what is your favorite video? Like the video that you've enjoyed doing or that you just love the most?
So a video that actually performed really badly is one of my favorite videos I made. Let me just see if I can find it. And I think the BookTube collabs have also been really, really fun, where I asked people about, can you share your favorite book of the year? And a lot of the booktubers have replied. That has been extremely fun as well.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool to see how the community have come together. So I'll share my screen. I tried to do something very different with this one.
Mm.
So here we go. This video here, well, it has 4,200 views. It's not
Not
horrendous,
bad.
but I went out on the streets in the Faroe Islands and asked people what their favorite book was.
Yeah.
So that was like, I really had to get out of my comfort zone. And yeah, that was just really, really fun. I really enjoyed editing that video.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't make a sequel because, especially when I uploaded it, like almost no one watched it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think some of the videos where I've done something different, where it's just
Mm.
not only a talking head video, like
Yeah.
Crypto Collabs. This video here is fun. This one is also really fun, where I invited
I
lots of
love
different
that.
authors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just like you can try different things. One thing that is like so weird about, I'm not sure if it's weird about BookTube, but all of my most popular videos are all like best fantasy series of all time. That is like what people love, but you can't make them every single week.
Yeah.
Those videos. What about you? Do you have any favorite videos you made?
I think, the collab that I did as well for what is the best fantasy book to get readers out of a reading slump, which it actually was inspired because of you. And I
Oh,
think I thought it was amazing. Just all of these very popular booktubers that I saw that I loved, just for them to be in a video that I made. It was so mind blowing. I remember I released it on March, and I remember like the whole month that I was preparing it, I was like, this is so cool. I am just so happy. I didn't actually wanted to release it because I did not want to face the truth. I just was happy about everything that happened.
that video was amazing, and you had some incredible booktubers on there, like Daniel Green was there, right?
Yeah.
And that's your most popular video to date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal video.
It made me so
Um,
happy.
All right, congratulations, thank you. And Kyle is here. Kyle, he is about to stop reading Malazan. That's a joke. No, he loves Malazan. So if you want to chat with anyone about Malazan, message Kyle. I remember back in the day when you were nervous even to do a face reveal. Oh, you should have been at the beginning of the live stream. I went through the video. I watched it on stream. It's cringeworthy, but a lot of things have changed. I
Yeah.
will continue on. Oh no, okay. There's a bit of an inside joke here. I'm in a chat on Instagram, and a lot of us have DNF'd Malazan recently, and he's one of them that's still hanging on. So that is funny. So before I end the stream, I just want to remind everyone the read along is starting next month. So if you want to join this read along, join the Discord. We're gonna open up new channels. It's gonna be lots of fun. And if you hate it, it's gonna be fun. And if you enjoy it, it's gonna be even better. So definitely join us. And thank you so much, Isa, for joining us. And
Thank you for
obviously also
inviting me.
thank you to my patrons. And for everyone that came out to the stream. It was great to be able to answer your questions. And thank you so much, really, for helping me reach this huge milestones. I
Very
just
much
absolutely can't believe it. And I'm hoping that Isa, she will also do a 25K celebration live stream in a couple of months.
Wow. That's optimistic, but
But yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe to Fun Fantasy Books. She is amazing. So I think I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you so much for coming out and to join the stream. I had really a lot of fun.
thank you, Johan. It
All
was
right.
amazing. And thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.